Hey, what's going on, people? It's Gunsfire from NextGenTactics. Welcome to part 2 of the Modern Warfare 3 initial analysis, or first impressions, whatever you want to call it. In this video, we're going to take a look at the maps in multiplayer. Now, before we get into it, I just want to talk about the game you're watching in the background. It's a free-for-all match on Fallen, which is a medium-sized map with a good mix of buildings and open courtyards. My style in this one is probably more along the lines of kind of campiness, as I recorded it in response to a tweet saying that you can't camp in Modern Warfare 3. And of course, if any of you know me, I'm like, hell no, what do you mean can't camp? I can camp anywhere. It's actually funny because shortly after that tweet, and after recording this video, I got swamped with other tweets saying that people do nothing but camp. I mean, people are all over the place in terms of Modern Warfare 3 right now in their opinions. Maps are a very big part of multiplayer games, especially with first-person shooters. They usually dictate or have some sort of influence on what kind of weapons will be most effective on each map, such as like SMGs for small maps, assault rifles for medium, and sniper rifles for those long open maps. Now, I've read quite a few comments on videos and in forums complaining about how cramped or small the maps are. First of all, the maps aren't really any smaller than previous Call of Duty games. They may feel more cramped because there seems to be more buildings in it, but definitely not smaller. If you are referring to maps like Fuel on Modern Warfare 2 where they were like just huge, well, that particular map more or less was a waste of space. Typically, people only used about half of the map. The outer wasteland was reserved for 1 or 2 snipers, and usually one of those fools were trying to perform the rock glitch, so really it was just wasted space. Personally, I think that the size of the maps in Modern Warfare 3 are just fine. There's a good mix of small to large size maps, which can easily accommodate a wide range of weapon classes from SMGs to sniper rifles. Now, I am by no means trying to attack Battlefield 3. I do like the game a lot, but I need to bring it up simply based on the fact that many of the Battlefield 3 maps are huge, and I think that people are trying to make this comparison between the two. That being said, I would argue that the maps are unnecessarily huge. I mean, how many times after respawning in Battlefield 3, if you don't have a buddy on your squad that you can spawn in on, do you spend running or driving a vehicle for like the first 30 seconds? You spawn at, your home spawn area, and all you're doing is running for like 30 seconds. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean. You're just constantly running and running and running. All the action is taking place in a relatively small part of the map, where all the buildings are located. So you spend or waste a lot of time running from spawn just to get to where the action is. All Modern Warfare 3 did was cut off all that unnecessary extra space and plunk you right down in the middle of the heated battle. People are complaining about how cramped the maps are and that there seems to be a high number of campers. This is absolutely normal and to be expected when a game is first released. Firstly, when the average casual gamer first starts playing, they're unfamiliar with the routes and hotspots of almost every single map. It takes time to become comfortable moving quickly around maps, because until you know them inside and out, you tend to run down dangerous corridors only to get picked off by someone in a window overlooking the alleyway. As a result of this, gamers will start out moving more cautiously in the beginning, and you can't blame them. Every Christmas, millions of new COD gamers join the scene, and they're lovingly called Christmas noobs because the gamers that have been playing since release date have become efficient enough that it's almost like shooting fish in a barrel. That is very frustrating to newbies. I find it incredibly selfish of experienced gamers to constantly yell and bitch about how noobs camp in the game. These jackholes expect everybody to, not knowing where they're going, to just run around, which makes for easy kills for the experienced gamers. It's selfish. If you hate getting killed by some dude sitting in a corner, start using your tactical equipment better or check your corners. Stop blaming others for your inability to clear a building properly. Camping will never disappear, but the high rate of campers right now will decrease over time as gamers become more comfortable with each map. Personally, I really like the maps, a lot. The high number of buildings and alleyways makes for some fairly intense firefights. Gamers have to be more careful moving through the maps. They can't just go running buck wild and not expect to get hit by other gamers. There's so many different directions that people come from, can perch up in windows. There seems to be so many routes that it's near impossible not to get killed unless you're playing very, very careful going through it. It's not that you have to stay in one spot, but as you're moving, you need to check corners. Now, there are a ton of alternate routes allowing gamers to flank the enemy that is trying to hold down an alleyway with suppressing fire. No one spot is 100% safe and secure, even if they are using stuff like claymores or bouncing betties. For me, the high number of buildings and alternate routes forces gamers to play more tactical. For Search and Destroy, these maps are incredible. Without even knowing the maps, it was easy for me to develop simple defense and offense strategies, and they worked. Those of you that are fortunate enough to play with a team, even if it's just another 1 or 2 friends, are in for a treat. It's not going to be difficult to create effective strategies for many of the game types, especially Search and Destroy. When I play with NGT, I expect a very high win-loss ratio. There's one last thing I want to talk about before the video ends, and that's the complaints of the maps not being friendly to snipers. And to that I say hogwash. Now, I'm not talking about the power of the sniper rifles, which is fairly obvious when you get quick scoped up the wazoo, but rather the lack of long open areas that a sniper can use to pick off other gamers from a distance. Perhaps many of the snipers today are lazy and are looking for wide open maps like they had in Modern Warfare 2 and Black Ops for the easy kills. Personally, I found many areas on almost every single map that provide the traditional sniper with opportunities to take out enemy players on the move. Narrow, long corridors are a sniper's best friend. Couple that with an elevated window position, and you will be able to lock down a section of the map easily. Are the maps perfect? No. But they will ensure that the action is high and the careless gamers are punished. Modern Warfare 3 is a game for the tactical gamer now, which is probably why I'm so out of my mind impressed with it. The advantage of reaction-based gamers has been noticeably reduced in Modern Warfare 3. Now is the time for tactical gamers to excel in close-quarter urban combat. Stay on the move, check those corners, and you'll be fine. This game definitely is rewarding people that use a little bit of tactical, a little bit of strategy. Can you run and gun in it? Sure. I mean, for now, you know, it's going to be a little bit frustrating because a lot of people, as I said before, tend to camp a little bit just because they're unsure about the layout of the map. And you tend to run into, you'll see this, when you first start in, just go start running around everywhere. I guarantee you're going to get hit by one of 4 directions. The maps are crazy, but for those of you that are careful, know how to check corners, know where, you know, to look in those areas that you think someone might be hiding, you're going to be rewarded. It's not hard to get kills in here. Just play smart. Keep your head above water, check those corners, and don't assume that you're just going to be able to run around and own people the entire time. Anyway, that's it. So a 30-2 game. Oh, by the way, yes, the Scar is a beast of a weapon. I'm now actually onto the ACR, trying to find a comfortable configuration for it, but I think the ACR may be my favorite little weapon. Just a little tip. Anyway, that's it. Peace.
Did you like this video? If you did, check out a couple of these here on the left on NGT Games. Spotted by me, Wagon, and myself are finishing up playthrough 1 on Borderlands, a co-op campaign. We're about to head over to the second playthrough, so be sure to keep an eye out for that. And on the right, on NGT Zombies, spotted by me, Wagon, and myself, we're playing a little Kino Dare Totem for a change. And guess what? There's a new perk in town. It's called Mule Kick, so be sure to check that out on NGT Zombies. Be sure to click the corresponding thumbnails, watch the videos, and be sure to subscribe to NGT Games and NGT Zombies for more videos.